Good morning and happy Monday. It is Momentum Builder Monday. It is also day one of the In Motion Challenge Monday. If you are participating in the In Motion Challenge, drop a comment and say, I'm in.
That's how long it takes to type I'm in.
I'm in. Okay, let's say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Janice, Jeanette, Kristen, Jerry. We have a lot of J's in the house this morning. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Mackenzie. Good morning, Tawny. Tawny, it's great to see you here. It's been a minute.
Oh, we went straight down to the bottom of the comments.
Nikayla, good morning.
You said, okay, I have to remember how to pronounce it. She said Nikaya.
Oh, Nikaya.
Nikaya.
I love that.
You said Nikaya and Kayla in one.
Well, Kayla was right after.
I know. Mel.
Good morning, Mel. And there's some of you guys who have your privacy features that we can't see who's on the line. But,
so we think.
But, you know, Mondays. Mindset conversation. So remember this. Weight loss ain't your problem. Weight loss is just the manifestation of the real problem. Okay? And that's why we talk about mindset. Because let's be real. Don't you all know already that chicken breast and broccoli is better for you than, you know, eating chips? And, you know, a tray of brownies on the weekend. However, the problem lies in, though we know truly deep down and our intuition, we know what to do. The problem is, why don't we do it? Yes, there's a lot of science that goes to nutrition, but I guarantee you, okay?
The science ain't the problem.
The science ain't the problem, okay? There's a lot of deeper shit that goes on inside here, okay? That makes your hand and your mouth act irresponsibly. And that is the problem. And something that we say very often, and you know what? We used to be a part of that too. We used to struggle with that too. Is hearing the term, I fell off the wagon this weekend.
Fell off the wagon. Let myself go is also another term.
Yeah, this weekend I slipped.
I slipped up.
So you know, since we're all about vulnerability and just keeping it real, right? Like if you fell off the wagon, if you happen to, you know, walk on a banana peel and you happen to slip, or maybe the brownie just fell into your mouth from the sky,
from the plate,
whatever it is, do us a favor and drop a comment. Okay, tell us if you fell off the wagon. Or what would be an emoji for it?
The wagon.
Okay, a wagon emoji.
The wagon followed by the explosion symbol.
Followed by a banana emoji.
Slipped off the wagon. That's the new term.
Okay, but the truth is, you guys, is that
shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. But the question is, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it, right? I remember that, you know, before I got on the right path, right, it took me years of effort to actually get on the right path, to be 100% honest. Every single weekend, slipped on a banana peel. Every single weekend,
brownies
fell off the wagon. Every single weekend, chocolate fell from the sky into my mouth in obscene amounts. Like it poured on me, right? But why does that happen, right?
Like imagine if you had a dump truck that backed up to our faces and dumped sugar of all varieties into our mouths.
Yeah.
That's what the weekend looked like.
Man, a typical weekend for me, like bad weekend, would start with Friday night after Shabbat dinner. I would literally grab a spoon and eat the rest of the rice that my mom, like the rest of the pot of rice that my mom made. I don't know what is it about my mom's rice, but
that's not the worst. It would start there.
It would start there, okay? And that was after dinner, okay? After finishing a pot of rice. I wouldn't eat it with my meal, of course.
Because you can't have carbs.
Because carbs are bad, right? So after dinner,
then I would eat the whole pot.
So after dinner, I was like, okay, as I'm helping my mom to clean up the dishes, all right, I'm just gonna have a spoon.
You start by lying to yourself.
Yeah,
like
I'll just have one spoon. And then like one spoon, like every single dish that I put away, like I have another spoon. Before I know it, like the pot is gone.
And it's not even sexy. You don't even wait till you finish swallowing the rice that's in your mouth before you fucking put more in.
And it drops like in your boobs and shit. Come on, you know what I'm talking
Who's
about.
Who's been there? You
like
can't
you
even
take
swallow.
off your bra and like shit swallows.
You can't even swallow the bite you started before you just find yourself jamming more in. You been there? I've been there.
So then I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Like I already fucked up, right? Like I might as well just have a celebration, a pity party celebration.
Because the extra calories after I already fucked up don't count.
Yeah, and you know, like it was obvious in the house that I was struggling. I mean, of course, my body showed it, but like my mom just keeps it real with me. She's like, Sri, you have no self-control. I'm like, I know. She's like, why can't you just be normal? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, she's like, you know, there's 50 shades of gray. Why does it have to be black or white with you? I don't know. So I'm like, well, I already fucked up. I might as well just like go hard, right? Like I slipped on a banana. It's like, let's just go on a roll right now.
So now it's a slip and slide.
Yeah. So then it's a matter of, okay, whatever we had around. My mom used to hide a lot of shit from me too. So like I would go for like absurd stuff. Like
so you would go on a treasure hunt.
Yeah, like even if there was just frosting there because we were out of chocolate, I would eat like frosting from a spoon.
That's how you know there's an issue.
Yeah, yeah.
When you will eat shit you don't even like.
Yeah.
Just to eat it. Hold on. Let's have a moment of silence real quick for this. Because I know probably every single person watching this has done that. You have eaten something that was not worth it, knowing it's not worth it, just because you wanted to put some shit in your mouth and chew it and swallow it and feel good.
Yep.
It's crazy that we do that.
Yeah.
And it's logically, we're just like, oh yeah, of course, like that's like your mom, right? There's 50 shades of gray, which is what we're trying to teach you guys now, right? Like,
so my mom would just call me out on it, right? And I would feel worse about it. I'm like, well, clearly it's really evident that I'm having an issue. What the fuck do I do? Okay, well, I might as well drown my sorrows in the frosting, right? And I already finished an entire pot of rice, so let's just like, you know, go like head forward and just kill it. So of course that happens. Right, and you know, then you wake up Saturday morning, guilty.
Oh, guilty AF.
Guilty, like, why did I do that? Like, worse than sleeping with someone if you're in college and like you had a one night stand with someone and then like you know, you do the walk of shame. It's like you have the walk of shame downstairs to like the coffee pot. You're like, man, I don't even think I'm gonna drink coffee today because the 20 calories of milk are like, I don't deserve it.
I can't afford those 20 calories because I really done fucked it up yesterday.
Yeah. So then
we go from to.
So I'm like, and you're thirsty, right? Because all that sugar and sodium. You're really thirsty, right? So you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna like drink a buttload of water and you don't even want to go to the gym because you're so tired because all night your body was digesting. Do you guys know that every time you eat, like 30% of your body's energy goes to just digesting the food that you're eating? And that is if it's clean. Like, so imagine if it's like a shitty McDonald's meal, forget about it. No wonder you're hitting a midday slump.
Everything is working so hard to digest what we're not designed to be eating.
So you know, you feel so tired and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the gym to burn it off. So
also, let's talk about embarrassment. Nobody knows what the fuck you did last night because you hid it from everyone anyways.
Yeah.
But you feel embarrassed about yourself and it's like nobody even knows because you didn't let anybody see. But you still feel like, going to the gym, you still just feel like, oh, can people see my stomach's bigger?
Yeah,
and
you're
the shirt,
bloated.
oh, is my shirt
and
like,
then you do this, terrible thing. You do this terrible thing. When you go to the gym, you actually you got your ass to go to the gym because you're motivated, right? As soon as you go to the locker room, what do? You put your stuff down, you fill up your water bottle, step on the scale. So now you feel even worse about yourself. You're like, I gained 5 pounds? Okay, I need to lose those 5 pounds right now. So you're like there on the elliptical doing cardio for like 2 hours. You go to 1,000 calories. You're like, no, I'm an overachiever. And there is this going on anyways. Let's go for another 200. You're exhausted by the time.
Wait. And I know that I'm going to want to eat a burrito or something later because I have no self-control. So let me do it some extra to make up in advance.
Oh, and then, yes. And then you go upstairs and you do like 15 minutes of abs, right? Or whatever is the like your struggle area.
Lunges.
Or like the area that you're working on, right? So like you do like 1,500 worth of 1,500 calories on whatever machine, followed by a little bit of accessory or just like abs, right, on those mats, like those.
No, good girl, bad girls, with the legs.
Oh, this is amazing, right? and then maybe you shower there, maybe you don't. If you don't shower, then you know that you're gonna bring an extra set of clothes because that sweat weighs a lot, and you need to make sure that the scale says otherwise, right? So you weigh yourself and you're like, all right, down 3 pounds. I don't feel so bad after all. So you leave the gym and you're feeling, pretty good about yourself and things are good and.
And if you don't know that 3 pounds is water weight, you must know that is not body fat.
Yeah.
You also must know that no one day makes or breaks any goal. You cannot lose a lot in one day. You cannot gain a lot in one day. It is impossible. So though the scale may say you gained 5 pounds, you did not gain 5 pounds of body fat in one single day. It is physically impossible. Unless
that's a lot of water retention.
Unless you got metal hair extensions.
It is a lot.
But you cannot gain 5 pounds of body fat or lose in a day. Not even 1 or 2 in a day.
Yeah.
Like, it just isn't a thing.
Yeah.
So if you are aware of that, but you're suppressing it, let it float. And if you're not aware of that, know that.
So wait, so then Saturday rolls around, right? And now you have like some kind of event, like either with a family or with friends. And if you don't love yourself, then I know that you're definitely hanging out with the wrong group of people. So you definitely don't like your friends. So you're like, okay, I'm just gonna have 1 drink, right? And 1 drink turns to 10 because nobody really likes each other. Let's be real. So the only way they can face one another is and actually feel good about themselves to get really drunk. And what happens when you get drunk, right? You eat all the food, right? So this time it's like three slices of pizza. You're already full, but you're not really feeling it, so you keep drinking more, and then followed by like the brownie tray.
I'm remembering when we were in Denver. And we passed by somebody's hotel room and we saw all this fucking all of this room service food ordered, and none of it like half a bite from a burger, like everything was still on the tray. We're like, they were drunk because you order food.
Your eyes get so big when you're drunk,
and then you just pass the fuck out and don't even eat it.
Yeah.
Like, who's ordered $20 of Taco Bell, which could feed a family of 30 people? And then not eating any of it. You wake up in the morning and then you're like, ugh. It's not only embarrassing, it's disgusting because now you don't feel good and it's there and you can see it and you're like, fuck, I just wasted, well, at least it was only $20. It wasn't like gourmet food. But yeah.
Did you just fart?
No, I think it was Sergeant.
Shit.
Yeah, shit is right. I think he fucking shit farted.
Okay, anyways.
He's air pooping.
So the story continues, and then on Saturday night, like, you fuck it up even more. But this time, like, in the moment, you can't feel like how how much you fucked it up, because like now you have the buzz going on.
Come forward.
Right?
I feel like I'm always looking backward.
But Saturday night was even worse. So you wake up on Sunday, and this time you're hungover. You're feeling like shit, but you're hungover. So what happens when you're hungover? You gotta eat comfort foods, mozzarella sticks and freaking wings and pizza. Come on.
How is like a McDonald's? What are those fucking hash brown and egg McMuffin like appetizing? Actually, I'm wondering.
Never had those.
Like, or like a greasy nasty breakfast burrito or something. I would have friends who would like go get those, and I'd be like, oh yeah. Why does that sound good when you feel like shit? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, for some reason, when you feel like shit because you're hungover, like you go for the worst.
It's
foods
momentum,
ever.
Maybe.
You go for the worst foods ever. But back then, I was health conscious. So this is what I had. I had a chicken Caesar salad wrap with onion rings and Diet Coke. Gosh. So bad.
Because you are health conscious. And onion rings are veggies, and chicken Caesar salad is a chicken salad or a wrap, so it's better than a burger because it's less carbs because it's a wrap, not really. And then what else did you say? A Diet Coke because I don't want the extra calories.
Yeah, of course not. Fuck that. You already had like 500 grams of sugar this weekend, so I mean, got it. So then you come home, or I mean, well, it's coronavirus time, so let's be real. It's all happening at home anyways, right? So then you're like, oh man, like, you know, like,
and you got everything
like
delivered.
You're digesting everything. You got everything delivered. So now like you lay on the couch.
You didn't even, your happy ass didn't even get up to go to the drive-thru. Because you got it delivered.
Yeah, no, if you're health conscious, and there probably was no drive-through either. Like you had to go, if you're in the East Coast, like you had to go pick it up from a diner, or if you're in the West Coast, I don't know what's in the fucking West Coast. I've had good habits since I've lived in the West Coast.
I want to say too, like any of this that I'm saying, and I'm saying you, it was me.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, the reason why we feel so comfortable laughing about it is because this was literally what my weekends looked like. So
we all may be laughing at this because we know that it's true. However, if this is something that you struggle with to any degree, it doesn't matter if it's, we're obviously making it the most extreme possible. But if you know, if you have the struggle, right? You know, if you have the pattern of this all or nothing mentality, even if it's not to the degree that we're explaining it right now. And so, you know, let's finish up the cycle real quick.
Yeah.
And then let's say, how do we?
So then Sunday night rolls around, and that's when you make a commitment to yourself. Next week is gonna be better. Monday is gonna be a fresh start. Right. So basically, what we're talking today is about the 3 types of people or
3 different types of responses.
The 3 different reactions to something like that. Okay. So what I explained was literally like a typical weekend of mine, and of course, you know, that varied, right? So I would consider this a 10. Right? Like a 1 would be like I was very consistent, like my weekends and my weekdays like are completely the same. A 5 would be like maybe I treat myself more than I should. However, I do have self-control. A 2 is maybe I do one thing intentional and like everything is consistent. I would like to know where do you guys would rate yourself on that scale of 1 to 10?
I'm a little bit confused on the 1 to 10.
Like with regards to what happens on the weekend. Like as far as like lack of consistency, all or nothing.
So 10 is the best you can get, 1 is the worst.
No, 10 is the worst.
Okay, so 10 is the worst. So
all the fries, all the brownies, all the whatever.
So 1 means you are very consistent. Like every single day of the week, doesn't matter what events are happening. You have self-control, you have discipline.
Like
you choose intentionally when you indulge, and you don't overindulge.
Yeah, you don't have a glass of wine.
I'm trying to make it very, very like easy to understand because I was a little confused.
Oh, okay.
So that's a 1. And a 10 is You don't eat any carbs during the week. You will not, no, I will not have a bite of that. No, that can't go in my mouth. I'm going to track and log every single calorie and thing. I'm going to do all my workouts. And then on the weekend, shit hits the fan and it's diarrhea everywhere. That's
Junellen also added Sunday night, the Last Supper.
Yeah.
Stop. Yes, how could I forget about it? Oh, so good. Amazing.
4 now used to be a 10, 2, 4. Okay, all right. 5. Okay. 8. I would say if you're a 3 or lower, you're in a pretty good place, right? You're in a pretty good, like you're advanced. If you're between a 4 and a 6, you're getting there. But obviously there's still work to do, and you probably don't feel comfortable with how you're behaving or how your routine is going. And if you're anything above a 6, you've probably been struggling with that for a really long time. And if you keep doing what you've been trying to do on your own, it is not going to work because it hasn't worked yet. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I would say 1000% you need somebody to coach you. You need somebody to hold you accountable. You need somebody to help you understand how you can make incremental changes that have a big impact but are not difficult to achieve on a daily basis.
You need to be surrounded by other people who are achieving more than you are,
Absolutely.
to be honest, because
or further along in the continuum, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so let's see where these homies are at. All right, so we had this. Okay. 2, 5, 8. Oh God, this weekend 10. 2, 3, 2. If anybody's a 6 or a higher, Tammy or somebody reach out to them. They need our help. Okay. I would say 3. I have maybe one meal that isn't good. Okay. 2, 8. I always have a cheat meal on Sunday. What number is that? Because you know the extreme of that cheat. Is it a cheat or is it a treat? Because there's a difference. Cheating means you're doing something wrong. Treating means you're being intentional about something. Sorry, I was on a work call. What was the question? Scale of 1 to 10. How inconsistent are you? 1, consistent. Everything looks the same every day. 10, shit's gone sideways. You fall off the wagon. You can't get back on. 4, 3, 5. COVID life 4. Pre-COVID 7. Oh, nice. Okay. That's probably the opposite way most people went. 4, need to be a 3, 5, 8 to 10. Now I rarely drink, maybe a small glass of wine here and there. Crystal 1, nice. Last night, large Dairy Queen after stuffing myself with spinach ravioli. Okay. Got tired of feeling like crap, wasn't worth it anymore. Jerry 1. I can see some people manifesting things. I was like 2 this weekend. My mom, I made chicken recipe. Okay, so 1, 6. Okay, so we're talking about on a consistent. So I saw some of you guys would say, oh, this weekend or pre-COVID or this or that. This is the consistency that we're talking about, or lack of, right? Because it doesn't matter what is happening in life. You should still have the same amount of control over your decisions that you're making in regards to food.
So,
there was like a week or 2 where food was really weird in the grocery stores and you had to get really creative, at least where we live, maybe longer in some other parts. But aside from that, when you have the choices, consistency is up to you.
Yeah. Like if we think about consistency, I want you to think about it like trends. Like how in businesses, like there's 4 quarters in the year and 2 halves. Like I want you to think about the last quarter. So between May and August, if you were to give yourself an average score, what would that be? Last weekend doesn't matter.
No,
last
overall.
weekend is one event of many, okay? And, all we can assume is that if last weekend you did this, unless you did something to change your life, right? Whether you committed to, a program or something, right? Then most likely the last 26 weeks have been the same, okay? So like ask yourself the question, over the last 12 to 24 weeks, what would my average score be? That will give you the real truth with regards to where you're at. Last
3 to
week
6 months.
doesn't matter. It's one event of many, okay? Your life, right? That's why we always say, just like one meal won't ruin everything that you worked so hard for, one clean meal will also not fix a lot of terrible meals, okay? So let's say if you had one terrible weekend, though I can only assume that if you had one terrible weekend, chances are that this is something that you struggle with, okay? Because if you're like at a 2, then I can guarantee you that your last 24 weeks were probably at around a 2, okay? However, right, when it comes to the weekends concept of I fell off the wagon, right? There's normally 3 types of responses, okay, when it comes to those who fell off the wagon, okay? Those are the used to be like me's of 10 years ago, okay? When I would fall off the wagon, I would, going into Monday morning, I would react in a certain way. So, you know, if you live your life currently, okay, having rated your last 12 to 24 weeks, anything above a 2, then your response is either one of these 3 things, okay? And you need to ask yourself by the end of this episode, what is my plan after this, okay? So response number 1, okay? Those are the people who failed on the weekend miserably, terribly, okay? This used to be me, and this is how I used to respond to it. Going into Monday morning, I would commit to never ever failing again. Okay?
So you think.
These are what I like to call the all or nothing people, right? They're so strict going into the week, okay? They have not built a threshold, a stamina with regards to their discipline, with regards to consistency. On the weekend, they live at 100. During the week, they go back to 0. Right? It doesn't work that way. Okay? So if you currently are struggling with that over the last 12 to 24 weeks, right? You're like, okay, Friday through Sunday, or I feel like in the summers people start their weekends on a Thursday evening, in fact, right? Thursday through Sunday, you go hard, right? It's a constant party. And then going Monday through Thursday, I'm gonna be very clean. So clean to the point where, you know, like you're unable to keep up with that level of discipline because you haven't built up the stamina in order to do so, okay? So that's group number 1. Do you have anything to add to that? No. That used to be me, okay? That kind of mentality is what fucked me up for many years, but I had to get over it in order to rise. And then
Same.
Group number 2, I mean, you're probably not going to be watching this, right? Unless you really love Sargent, or unless you think that Erin is really funny and you're just here for the entertainment. Group number 2 are the quitters, right? Like maybe if you're definitely not watching this live, if you will, you're probably going to watch it in January.
Hold on.
What?
You might be watching this live because you're new to our community and you haven't quit yet. However,
True.
we discovered last week that the percentage of people who quit on their New Year's resolutions after 2 weeks is 84%.
No.
Who quit?
81.
You said 16% follow
19.
through.
19%.
Doesn't matter. That's a small percentage of people that follow through. After only 2 weeks, 80% of the people have already fucking quit. 2 weeks.
Yep. So if you started the Rise Above program, chances are that by the time day 14 will roll along, 80% of y'all are gonna fall off.
And I want to say this too, for anybody doing the In Motion Challenge, it's 21 days, which is longer than 2 weeks. And I want to say, when you feel like quitting, that is the point in which you have to keep going.
Yeah.
Because the good shit happens when you do it, even when you don't feel like it, because you know you need to. So I want to hit really hard on this option number 2.
Yes, you're
quitting.
right. You're right.
Because all of us will feel like quitting at some point.
Yeah.
All of us feel like quitting.
Yeah.
I do. Sarit feels it. It's a temptation. If you are a human being, you get tempted with quitting. When things get hard, when it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go, when you get disappointed because you feel like you let yourself down, or you've been let down, or something didn't turn out the way that you thought it would, or something's hard, or you're tired, or you had a long day, or you don't know how to do something. Oh shit, how many times do we quit because we don't know how? You know how much free information's on YouTube on how to do pretty much anything? That's where I go all the time.
If you guys were to go to YouTube and look at our Rise Above program, just look at how many people
watch number 1 and number 2.
And how many people watch number 14? You guys, like, the numbers are insane. Like, it goes from 8,000 people to what? Like 1,000 people?
No, there's been way more than 8,000 views, I think. Actually, I don't know. We've had more than 8,000 people sign up. We've had in the 5 digits of people sign up.
Right.
Right? But the number of views doesn't reflect that. Now, some of that is due to email providers, and sometimes emails go to trash and people don't get them one up. But whatever. The point is that there's an extreme number of people who watch the first couple videos and then drop off.
It's crazy.
Yep. Or there's been people in the group too who said, hey, starting Rise Above over again, recommitting myself because I didn't make it past day 4. Or, you know, how many times have you restarted the Rise Above program? Stop restarting it. Start from where you left off, and don't let one day go by in between. And don't let more than one day go by in between when you do the next one.
So unless you're a 2 or less, okay, which, let's be real, it takes a lot of training to get to a 2 or less, okay? A 1 is, I honestly, like, if you live at a 1, good for you. I mean, honestly, in my personal opinion, it is not sustainable. Like, if you are at a 2, you are able to harmonize a life well balanced, and you also have achieved incredible things, okay, by being consistent. Consistency is a part of your daily ritual, okay? I would consider myself a 2 right now. How about you?
Yeah, to give you guys an example, for the last 3 to 6 months average, not right now, not since I met you guys, unless it was over 6 months ago, you know, then what's that average? I would say realistically I'm probably at a 2.5 to a 3.
You are, yeah, I would say you're more at 3.
2.5 to a 3. And it's been more of a 3 over the last 3 months. I will admit that. But here's the thing. I've gotten, like, a 3 is bad for me. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if a 3 was bad for you, like on your not good time? Like, how awesome would that be? Mm-hmm. You know, now there's areas where I know I can clean up 100%. But I also know that I'm pretty damn healthy. And if my body feels good and I can perform and do what I need to do, I'm doing great. If I start to get to a point where I feel like, yeah, I got to reel it in, I have the ability to do that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have control, I think is...
Yeah, so if you are anything, okay, above a 2, then your reaction to falling off the wagon is one of those 3 things. So far we talked about 2. This is just a quick recap for you guys. Person number 1 is the person who commits to never ever failing again, right? That's person number 1. Person number 2 is the person who quits, okay? Before you've been consistent for 14 days, you fell off the wagon. I don't know, you disappeared to the woods somewhere. You know, maybe I can go find you in up on the mountain or in Death Valley, not sure where. But then person number 3 is the person who learns from their mistakes.
Can I say those in different words now too?
Okay.
So person number 1 is the one who is setting themselves up to fail. Person number 2 is the yo-yo. Both are the yo-yo, actually. And person...
Short-term yo-yo, long-term yo-yo.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And then person number 3 is on their way.
Yes.
Always on your way. You've never reached the destination. You will
Right.
never reach the destination.
Right.
The destination is in the journey.
Yeah.
And when you learn to embrace that, and when you learn to, and you can understand and just accept and love the fact that the journey is where it's at, and if you can start to fall in love with more pieces of the actual journey, you will reach your destination without even recognizing it, and then far surpass what you even thought you were capable of.
Yeah.
But you have to think about loving the steps in the journey, even though sometimes it's not the easy thing to do.
Yeah. So here's the thing. My goal for each and every one of you guys who are either watching this live or, listening back. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. But
do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button.
Yeah. But my goal for you is to become person number 3. Okay? That requires surrendering to the process, being vulnerable, and being coachable. Right? Being coachable, because here's the thing. If you're person number 1 or person number 2, then you struggle. You've already developed a pattern that's wrong. Right? And there's only one way to get yourself outside of that pattern, because you guys, we are creatures of habits. Whether your habits are shitty, whether your habits are decent, or whether your habits are on point, you are a byproduct of your habits, right? So if you're person number 1, then falling off the wagon is a habit of yours. You need to fix that shit. That requires training. If you're person number 2, then not only do you have to fix your shit, but you also have to own your shit, okay? Person number 2 is the one who's stuck the most, okay? Because their level of inconsistency is the highest, right? Those are the ones who, have a New Year's resolution, going into like the 3rd week of the year, like they're nowhere to be found. You can find them again next year, right? Like their ratio of consistency to inconsistency is so great. They're inconsistent 90% of the time and consistent 10% of the time, maybe. Those are the ones who are going in a downward spiral, backwards. It's like every year they're gaining more weight. At the beginning of every year, like the pattern repeats itself. Okay, it's like they're getting all the protein powders, setting themselves up, right? But here is messed up, right? Person number 2, it's like you're 50% inconsistent and 50% consistent, okay? So chances are is that depending on how bad you shit the bed on the weekend, okay, you're probably been stuck for a really long time, or maybe things are starting to get worse slowly, considering, the fact that if you're not training right, your metabolism is getting worse each and every year. That's just a part of life, okay? Unless you are and have been on the right path, you train in a way that boosts your metabolism, you eat in a way that boosts your metabolism, chances are that slowly but surely you're going on the downward spiral, or perhaps you're just not feeling the change. But here's the reality. A change is always happening, right? And if it's not a positive change, it's a negative change, and it's happening slowly, not where you can feel it between this week and next week, but within the next 10 years, you will feel this greatly.
Change is constant.
Okay? Person number 3 is a person who's working on getting their shit together, okay? It's like, 12 weeks ago, you were at a 10, and right now you're at an 8. Awesome. Awesome. It's not about perfection. It never will be. Your standards should be to strive for perfection. But if you're at a 4 and you expect of yourself a 10, get over yourself. You're being led by your ego. If you're at a 4, if you're 40% consistent and you expect yourself going into Monday to be 100% consistent this week, guess what? You're already setting yourself up for failure. You have to be realistic.
Guess how many numbers are between 4 and 10?
6. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, you're right.
So you're trying to, if you thought of a literal staircase, could you personally, from 2 feet, jump from the bottom step to the 5th step? Physically, like a literal staircase, 5 steps. Could you go from the bottom step to step number 5? I would say if you are the response person 1 or 2, no. Probably, honestly, because the habits that you've had that have led you to where you are have made you too heavy and not powerful enough for the weight that you have to get to the 5th step. Mm-hmm. This same thing. You have to jump to step 1 because 1 comes before 2. You cannot count to 10 without saying every number in between. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It doesn't go 1, 10. We're not counting by tens. Once you get to 100, maybe you can start counting by 5s because it's momentum. But if you're at 1, you cannot get to 3 until you get to 2. You cannot get to 5 until you've gotten to 4. Make sense?
So, just a quick recap, you guys. It doesn't matter what happened last weekend. Put that behind you, okay? However, you have to get real with yourself and face the problem heads on, okay? You're gonna start by asking yourself the question, over the last 12 weeks, where would I rate myself overall with regards to how consistent I've been on the weekends, okay? 1 is you've been so consistent, like nothing will break you, okay? Which is probably not where, like, in the long run, like anybody should be. If you want to harmonize your personal life with your goals, just being honest, that means like you don't get to have a glass of wine, you don't get to have like a piece of brownie or anything. Of course, if that is your choice, amazing. I know that is not my choice.
Just on the weekends, or consistency like throughout our entire week?
We're talking about slipping off on the weekends right now.
Okay. A 10 would be?
A 10 would be like you shit the bed so hard. And right now, like you probably have a lot of anxiety going into a Monday. And this conversation might be a little bit uncomfortable for you.
And I laugh because the term shit the bed is just a really funny term.
Yeah, but you do feel like shitting the bed after a weekend like that.
That's the best description. That's why it's funny.
Right.
Because if you shit in your bed, it's terrible. Imagine having your own shit in your bed. Sorry. It's not just in your bed, it's also in your pants. So that's gross. And you walk and it squishes.
Okay, anyways. So ask yourself that question, right? And remember, there is 3 types of people, okay? When it comes to how you deal with anybody who have rated themselves anywhere over a 2, okay? Those are the ones who commit to, who say on a Monday morning, I'm never gonna fail again, but for some reason they keep on repeating that cycle very frequently every weekend. That used to be me, okay?
Same.
That used to be me. I believe that most of you guys who are watching this are that kind of person, okay? Person number 2 is the person who just quit on themselves. Their ego got burnt.
And there might be a few of you here watching because
you're just getting started.
You've recommitted again, okay? So this is your opportunity.
Yes.
This is the last time.
Right.
You get to graduate to 2.
Right.
No, a 1. I don't know.
And then the rest of y'all, are on 3, right? It's, you guys are the type of people who, you don't have your shit together and you know it, but you're working on making it better, right? Like, your expectation for yourself, let's say if you rated your last 12 weeks at a 7, right? Your expectation out of yourself for the next 12 weeks is like a 5. Okay? And that's where We hope that each and every one of you guys are, okay? You're in a constant like learning and analysis state. Like your ego is not getting in the way. If you fuck shit up, you're like, shit man, I'm human. What can I do, next time to not repeat the same cycle over and over again? It's all about the intention that matters. It's all about the intention, okay? Real success does not happen overnight. It requires you overcoming yourself, which is a daily and weekly journey that requires constant analysis.
We could even go into another topic, and instead of saying, how can I not do this, is how can I do this? Right? So, I mean, there's so many things that we can do to improve. The problem is that oftentimes we try focusing on more or biting off more than we can chew, right? We try focusing on more than we can handle at one time. So it's important that no matter where you are, no matter what you feel you've been described, for one, we're not trying to put you in a box. We're just trying to make it simple to understand by kind of categorizing based off of our experience with our own selves and everybody that we've coached. So think about where you are now and think about what is the one thing that I could do that will have an impact on me to be better, but I know that I can do. I know that I can do it every day. I know that. Don't kid yourself. Don't say I'm going to work out every single day. Nobody will.
Be realistic. Don't be idealistic.
So, what, and a lot of times it's not even movement. I want to challenge you. Don't make it about movement. Most of us are good at working out. Okay, so make it about something nutritionally or something in your mind that you can do differently. Maybe you plan ahead. Maybe you make a different kind of commitment to yourself than you made before. Just one thing that you can do every single day, no matter what.
Yeah.
And just get really good at that thing.
Yep. Amazing. Look, if you guys enjoyed this episode, if you feel like, you gained some value from it, then do us a favor and please share it with somebody who this can help out too. Remember, we show up for you guys 5 days per week in order to help you become better, right? And in the process of you becoming better, in order to have you help somebody else become better. Right? Good things are meant to be shared, right? After having transformed our own lives, we've been on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours. Nobody, after having struggled for a long time, right, and getting on the right path, will want to keep this for themselves. Okay, so please, if you're watching this and you're in this community, then you know that sharing is caring. Then please do us a favor and share this with at least one person. Either share it on your Facebook, copy the link and send it to somebody, or when you're receiving the email, just go ahead and forward it to somebody else who will get value from this. Okay, that's all that we ask. Today is day 1 of the In Motion Challenge. So for anybody who is doing this, let's start strong. But remember, it's not about starting strong that matters. Everybody's good at starting strong. Okay, I want to see how many of y'all are consistently staying the course for 21 days. Okay, and I want you guys to watch. Like in order to be coachable, you have to coach yourself too. Okay, starting today, look at the page and see how many people are posting, and also going into day 21, see how many people have fallen off, because this happens every single time.
And for those who are gonna fall off, they're probably not watching this, because if you're watching this, I'm gonna convince you right now to not fall off. Because I know if you're in our community, there's some kind of competitive nature to you. Something about us drew you to us. And I want to challenge you and say, I bet you can't finish 21 days in a row of 20 minutes of movement and log it into the XND app. Okay, if you are because it's not a habit for any of us to log, I am going to commit today to writing in my planner every single day on my to dominate list. Yeah, we don't have to do lists here. On my to dominate list, log in Team XND app. Log movement, because I will forget.
For the real competitive ones, okay, this is what I want you to do, okay? Every day after you're done with your workout, okay, if you're, I want you to post a photo, okay, post-workout photo, right, and say challenge accepted, the day that you completed, and then tag us in it.
On the 21st day?
No, every
day?
single day.
Every single day?
Yes, I want to, because I want to have my own tracking point. I know the ones that are really serious about it, like the Jerrys, like the Jeanettes, like the Laurens, like
Chili's.
the Tammys. You guys are going to, like, I already know that you're going to complete 21 days because you've already shown me how serious you are about this, right? But, you know, for some of you guys, I either just don't know you well enough, and I do want to get to know you better, and I do believe in each and every one of you guys. So put yourself in front of me, okay, so that, you know, I can put you in that category too, or, you know, just do it for yourself, okay? But you guys, I want you to watch this, okay? Track the same things that I'm tracking, because you will be appalled when you would realize like how many people actually fall off. So I'm challenging each and every one of you guys to prove me wrong and to prove yourself right, okay? Every day, make a post after you're done, say challenge accepted, the day that you completed, and then tag us in it.
And there's a hashtag too.
What is it?
The hashtag is ES in motion takeover.
Hashtag ES in motion takeover. I don't see Tammy in the room, but Lauren, can you do us a favor and drop that? Hashtag ES in motion takeover. So here's what you're gonna post if you're accepting this challenge, okay? Post-workout selfie, challenge accepted, the day, okay, and hashtag ES in motion takeover. Do that for 21 days.
Drinking your focus. Just kidding. That's not a requirement.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're going to peace out now. That was a really good episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for accepting our challenges. And thank you so much for being willing to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Being willing to be better on a regular basis. Change is inevitable. How are you going to change?
Mic drop.
We love
Happy
you.
day one, everybody.
Bye.